I'm Andrew Hiltz, and this is Brodie Seaman from the Saskatchewan Electric Vehicle Association. Today we're going to drive to Moose Jaw and talk all things electric vehicles. Let's go. How long have you had an EV?
I got mine in November of 2021. I've been through 2 winters, 1 summer. I absolutely love it. I will never go back to a gas vehicle.
What kind of driving do you do?
Most of my driving is in the city. I do occasional road trips. Furthest I've ever taken it has been Calgary. The most remote place I've ever taken was to Frontier, Saskatchewan.
Could you tell me a little bit more about the effects winter has on electric vehicles?
It is good to warm the battery up while you're still plugged into your charger. That just helps the battery operate a little bit more efficient. That typically takes 20 to 30 minutes to do so.
To warm up the batteries, okay.
If it's minus 35 and you're driving right into some 50-kilometer-an-hour headwinds, you're probably losing 40 to 50% of your range. That's really the kind of worst case scenario though.
And is it quite noticeable, like obviously things like heated seats, heated steering wheel, any of those things that you might have in your vehicle, just defrost anything, that's gonna suck a lot from the battery as well?
All the creature comforts that you're used to in a vehicle, that all uses up the battery. So you'll notice that your range does go down when you use that. It's pretty minimal.
Okay.
They don't draw a whole lot of power, but it does certainly affect that.
Is there any benefits to driving an electric vehicle in wintertime?
Yeah, your cabin heats up a lot quicker in an electric vehicle, and you typically have a little bit lower center of gravity due to the extra weight with the battery. That helps with the traction. Your typical maintenance on an electric vehicle is brakes and tires.
Right, you have no oil to change, no other parts to fix. I've got an emissions question for you. If we were to compare a gas-powered vehicle's emission versus the power generation needed to juice up an electric vehicle, what's the difference?
The electric vehicle would be about 30% lower than the emissions from a gas-powered vehicle. That does not include emissions associated with manufacturing process. As Saskatchewan shifts to generating power from sources with lower carbon emissions, that 30% will increase as we clean up the grid.
With the fast charging stations, what kind of price are you paying to get a full charge?
If you were to plug in at 0 and charge to 100%, probably going to cost somewhere around $20 to $25, kind of depending on which charging station you're at and how big your battery is. Your level 2 chargers, you're probably looking at for a full charge somewhere between $5 and $10. And then level 1, your home charger, you're really just paying SaskPower's power rate.
Where do you charge your vehicle? At your house mostly, at some of the charging stations?
Probably 90 to 95% of my charging happens at home. You're maybe putting on 10, 15, 20 kilometers a day.
Yeah.
You know, so to get that back off of the 110 outlet, you know, you're talking about a couple hours. Based off of driving about 1,000 to 1,500 kilometers a month, our electric bill is roughly $30 to $40 more per month. There's more chargers popping up, you know, every month. So the more charging infrastructure we get, the less those long road trips and charging becomes an issue.
Gotcha.
There's a lot more chargers out there than a lot of people realize.
Yeah.
And there's a really great resource called plugshare.com that shows you all the chargers that are available.
We made it to Moose Jaw, Brodie. I hope you know where the charging station is, because I sure don't.
I do, yeah.
Like so. So we made it to Moose Jaw. The vehicle is at about 70% right now. We're going to charge it up, which should take about 20 minutes or so.
Yep.
So while it's charging, we're going to grab lunch, talk a little bit more about the vehicles, then head back to Regina. So Brodie, is this part of the EV lifestyle, planning trips around restaurant visits?
We've got more than enough range to go from Regina to Moose Jaw and back to Regina again without having to charge.
Could you walk us through the process of what we just did at that level 3 station?
Yeah, so typically it's very similar to pulling up to a gas station, pull up to the charger, plug it in, enter in your credit card or debit card, and wait the 10-15 minutes for it to charge, and then get back on the road.
That carries you over, gives you enough boost to get on to the next station. So you just got to kind of plan your trips accordingly. Make sure there's stops using the app you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. Find all the stations that you'll come across on your trip.
All right, Brodie, we're back on the road, and I have a very important question for you. Do you know what SaskPower is doing specifically right now with electric vehicles?
Yeah, so right now they're working in collaboration with the University of Regina to study the charging habits of Saskatchewan EV drivers and to determine the impact that will have on our grid.
I'm super glad I got to join you on this drive. Learned a ton about EVs along the way, so I'm pumped for that. And future for electric vehicles in Saskatchewan seems pretty bright. Well, Brodie, back 150 kilometers later with battery to spare. If anyone wants to learn more about electric vehicles, visit saskpower.com/EV.